trouble is with the world, the fall of man. The time has come now when we are ready to comprehend what the trouble is with the world, and the only remedy that is possible to reclaim it from the chaos which inevitably faces you. It is not wise to ignore the handwriting on the walls of the world structure. I wish to paint the picture of the present rapid fall of man so vividly, that everyone can plainly see that your civilization is doomed to self-destruction if world leaders will do nothing to reverse the conditions which are causing your fall into another age of bestial dark. I am told that I am optimistic, for it appears it is too late for bestiality has become the modus operandi. The rest has simply not caught up with the massive misbehavior. We shall see, for it appears to be the time of awakening when man is nearing a low to the point he will turn to God, and then the reverse will come very quickly. When the high moral and righteous civilization, of about 4,000 years ago, fell into degradation because of its lowered moral condition, its people, great and small, said, "Woe is me for the misery of this time. I would that I might die." Little children said, "Would that there were none to keep me alive." Universal despair settled down upon that highly intellectual and moral civilization in which righteousness, justice and morality had developed character in man, as has never since been equaled. That is what happened to the old kingdom in Egypt at the end of the Pyramid Age, and that is what will happen to the human race before your newborn child shall have reached another 5 years, unless the present system, which is now the basis of your human relations, is reversed. You do not believe this because you now have a comfortable home and a motor car. But there are now over 3 million homeless in this once flourishing nation. People are being laid off in great numbers daily, businesses are closing or moving to other countries, and there is no evidence of new business nor start up again of the old. How long will you have a home and other property? The elite have planned to take it all from you, so that you will be too helpless to rise against them. You are nearing the point of having only months to take action rather than even years. There are no more decades to consider in the waiting. You cannot picture your own son slaying you, his own father? How about prostituting wife or daughter? What about turning your back while another man slays his brother, as men like you and your son are doing in this day, and even passing out honors and having parades for the action? It is only that you cannot believe it has happened to you. You cannot believe that it ever could happen to you. Do you forget how quickly degradation and wholesale prostitution overtook the little peaceful, moral German villages of home-loving, church-going people immediately after the First World War? What of the Second World War? What of the atrocities in Vietnam? Even with the gang wars and drug-related crimes and killings, you cannot believe that this can happen here and to you, this prosperous young nation being plunged into the very dregs of debauchery and misery in less than one generation. It has happened, brothers, and while you slept, the elite would-be rulers stole your constitution, set up drug trafficking centers in your own military installations, and your children are killing each other in the streets of the cities. You who were young will see it, however, for you are in it and you will yourself sink to the lowest levels along with the rest, or kill all you love and yourself, too, to escape it. You will then find that the present civilization is only a thin veneer, which will strip itself off from its base in a few short years after morality and character have reached a certain level toward which it is now almost at crescendo. One more world war will create this dread chaos within only days or weeks as millions of homeless city refugees flee the cities to desecrate the countryside for very survival. The most conspicuous symptoms which have accompanied every fall of man for thousands of years are these: lowered idealism with resultant lowered culture, character, morality, righteousness and justice; disappearance of sex idealism with resultant promiscuity, greed and lust for possessions and power, crime and youth delinquency, and fear of wars arising from international disunity. These causes you have with you this day in greater intensity and measure than ever before in all of human history. A cause cannot exist without being followed by its effect. It is time to admit that the cause is here. You must also know that its effect is also here and cannot be longer avoided. Yet, few seem to be concerned and refuse to look at the proof because it seems unbelievable that it could have happened to you. Socrates did not believe that the high civilization of Greece could fall, but it did. The great artists and idealists of 1900 would starve today. Entertainment has grown vulgar and pornographic. Character, morality and justice are all but gone. Crime, even unto treason, is fast consuming the last portions of your nations. Sex idealism is gone, and sex looseness is blatantly present at every turn from the lower grades on. Diseases associated are wiping out great numbers of your citizens, including your babies. Abortion is rampant and not only sanctioned but demanded. Promiscuity is destroying the sanctity of an increasingly larger percentage of homes. It is remarkable to have an intact family of origin. Above all this is fear. Fear for loss of security and fear of war. Fear of the truth and fear of the ignorance. Terror sweeps the nations like wildfires out of control. There is a reason for this, and that reason is that the basic underlying cause of this world disaster to the human race lies in gross ignorance of balance in human relations and its consequent malpractice. You have not kept watch, and the wicked have stolen all while you noted it not. The world has not yet realized that the only way a civilization can endure is by practice of the love principle of giving instead of taking. When man learns how to serve man rather than to exploit or enslave him, morality, justice and character will then come again into the world. Former journals tell you why and how greed and fear came into the world and caused man to gain the whole world at the cost of his soul. We wish to show you that civilization has advanced technically for thousands of years but has retarded spiritually to the point where none of your great institutions gives any thought to the development of character and spiritual man, while the development of character and righteousness during the age of character, when God was thought of as light and symbolized by the sun, was paramount. Ever since that day of high standards of righteousness and culture, which men then valued, there has been a gradual tendency to create machine man who could produce material wealth for a never-increasing material-minded world. By thus giving you this knowledge of all of world history, boiled down to that spoonful so you can see it as a whole, you will then readily see that the only chance for human survival and growth into a united and cohesive one world of cooperative man, is through rhythmic balance and industry. For industry could be the greatest and most powerful institution on earth. The only one which can unite mankind into its ideal of one world, which government, education and religion have all failed to do. Where nations have conquered nations by might over right, and spread fear and hatred in so doing, industry could gradually conquer the whole world through friendly service which binds men together, through the giving and re-giving to each other of the needs of the other. All mankind has to trade with all mankind and loves to do so. This necessity for mutual trading would gradually become more ethical, and character is the product of ethical interchange. That is the secret of the greatest opportunity for expressing unified power the world has ever known. This great unifying power is hardly awakened as yet, for it is new. It does not yet know its own long-sleeping soul. The mental attitude resulting from the fall induced a corresponding condition in nature, and by the same law the mental attitude, which is restoration from the fall, will produce a corresponding renovation of the material world.